What's happening, guys? This is the Grandmaster of Faster, and welcome back to Let's Play Kingdom Hearts. Now, before we get started, I just want to ask everyone to hit that big red subscribe button, or leave a like and comment below. Every one of those really helps. In the last episode, we found 2 of the 4 pieces of evidence needed to prove Alice's innocence. And in this episode, we are going to try and find the other 2 pieces of evidence and perhaps, maybe, hopefully, finish Wonderland. A task that is not being made any easier by these guys. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is battle more Heartless, apparently. Ah, come on. I don't have time for this. Alright, so, as I was saying, the first thing we are going to do is we are going to go up here, and then up to this platform, and hop across to open this treasure chest. And it contains puppies number 16, number 17, and number 18. And by puppies, I mean Dalmatians. So we have 3 of the 99 Dalmatians rescued. And also, now we have 3 pieces of evidence. Now, as I'm trying to get that chest, and failing I might add, I have to mention, the Cheshire Cat said that 3 of the 4 pieces of evidence were a cinch to find, and that the 4th one was tricky. The reason being is that you have to do something a little, well, shall we say, special in order to get the 4th piece of evidence. And I would love to demonstrate what you need to do in order to get it, except I can't reach this stupid chest. Thank you. All that for a Thunder Gummy. Anyway, what we need to do is we want to head back to the entrance of the forest and examine this flower. If we give it a potion, it'll make us bigger, so let's go ahead and do so. Yeah, that's pretty big. So before we do anything, this stump suggests that we get on top of it, and we do. Be sure you do that before you shrink down to size. How do you shrink back down to size? Why, by taking this nut and eating it too. You can also hit the tree in order to make it rotate, but you don't really need to do that for what we're doing. Okay, now that we've shrunk back down to regular size, or shrunken size, because regular was bigger and... Never mind, I'm confusing myself. Oh, hey there guys, how you doing? Well, I'm glad to see you too. You might notice that in the distance... Well, now I gotta climb back up again. What I was going to say was, in the distance, you might notice a platform that wasn't there before. That's because when you jump on top of the stump, this platform will rise, allowing you to go through here. Now we're going to be back into the bizarre room, but we are standing on top of this faucet, and off in the distance... I just pushed Donald over the edge. Wow, I'm a jerk. There we go, there is the 4th piece of evidence we need. The claw marks. Well, look what you found. Nice going. Now we can save Alice. Don't be so sure. She may be innocent, but what about you? What do you mean? I won't tell, but I'll give you something. And he will give us the power of ice, so now we can use Blizzard. Well, you know what they say, ice is nice. I guess we can fight these guys. We really don't need to, but it's nice for the experience. Okay. So, now that we have all 4 pieces of evidence, we can go to the Queen's castle and present our evidence before Her Majesty. Now, you don't need to find all 4 pieces of evidence, but it's highly recommended that you do. I will explain why momentarily. Now, show me what you have found. Well, that's certainly a lot of evidence, but I'm still not impressed. Cards, bring forth my evidence. Checking all 5 would only be a waste of time. Alright then, choose the one you wish to present. I'll decide who's guilty based on that evidence. What? After all the trouble of collecting it? You dare object? Then you will lose your head. Now choose. 1 box. It really doesn't matter which box you choose. Well, actually, it kind of does matter, but I'll explain that in a minute. I'll just go ahead and choose the middle one and see what happens. What in the world was that? There's your evidence. Alice is innocent. Silence! I'm the law here. Article 29. Anyone who defies the Queen is guilty. That's crazy. Seize them at once. Wow, talk about the right to a fair trial. Huh. Well, then again, this is Wonderland and not the USA. Okay, so now we have to fight off the Queen's cards. Now, the first thing you need to know is that the cards are indestructible. No matter how many times you knock them down, they will only be stunned, not destroyed. Your real target is the tower. Okay, now there's probably something important I should mention. There is a chance that when you open a box, Donald and Goofy will be inside, rather than a Heartless. If that happens, the Queen will accuse you of being the ones who tried to steal her heart. And if that's the case, then Donald and Goofy will be locked inside cages and you'll have to free them. So all you really need to do is have Donald and Goofy keep the cards at bay. Oh, one more thing I forgot to mention is that if you attack the Queen, the cards will be momentarily distracted, and that allows you opportunities to destroy the tower. So overall, not hard at all. She must have gotten kidnapped while we were fighting. You fools! Find the one who's behind this. I don't care how. Talk about not playing with a full deck, if you know what I mean. Well, anyways, let's go head into the Lotus Forest and search for clues. Have you seen Alice? Alice, no. Shadows, yes. Where did they go? This way? That way? Does it matter? Left, right, up, down, all mixed up thanks to the shadows. Step deeper into the forest, to the deserted garden. You might find shadows in the upside down room. Boy, you're a regular fountain of information, aren't ya? Oh, and speaking of new things, we've got a new type of Heartless to contend with. That big lumbering guy is a large body, and it can be pretty tough. As you can see, you cannot attack it from the front. And despite its appearance, it is surprisingly agile and has a good number of attacks to use at its disposal, such as that shockwave right over there. But when it does those spastic movements, that means it's about to charge you. Personally, what I like to do is I like to deal with any surrounding enemies before I take out the large body, because if you fight it on its own, it's not that bad. And also you can guard against its charge, which allows you to get some more attacks in on it. One good thing I can say about it is that it drops a ton of cash when you destroy it. Alright, so what we want to do is we want to head to the other side of the, forest. Just after we deal with these guys, that is. Okay, come on. We're almost done. There we go. Oh, never mind. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention is that now that we have the Blizzard spell, we can deal with those red Nocturnes much more easily. Not only will Blizzard take them out in one hit, but you'll also get extra tech points for using their weakness. Alright, now that all the Heartless have been destroyed, let's head in through the opening that was blocked by the rock, better known as the Tea Party Garden. The bad news is we won't be able to meet the Mad Hatter or the March Hare. But what we do have is something a little interesting. We want to read this sign, "A very merry unbirthday. Sit down to get your present." So what you can do is you can sit down in these chairs and you will receive quote-unquote gifts depending on where you sit. Of course, you could end up fighting Heartless, depending on which chair you choose. I don't really have much to talk about, so I guess what I could talk about is my opinions on the actual Disney film Alice in Wonderland. And when I say the Disney film, I mean the 1951 film. As far as Disney films go, I honestly think it's kind of underrated. Granted, it's still well known, but, you know, it's not talked about as much as, say, Beauty and the Beast or Little Mermaid or Frozen. And it's kind of a shame because I think it stands up there with those films. And the reason why I think it's a good film is honestly the characters and the environment. When people think of Wonderland, they think of this bright, colorful place where anything is possible. And while the anything is possible part is certainly true, a lot of the film is very dark and foreboding in terms of appearance. Like when Alice is trying to run away from the Queen of Hearts and her cards, it gets pretty grim in terms of imagery. But also, as I said before, what I think makes this film, the film work, are also the characters. I love Alice, I love the Mad Hatter, I love the March Hare, and I like the Queen as well. She's a very funny and threatening villain. But I especially like the character of Alice because of how she fits in with the story. Because what I think is that Wonderland is sort of a reflection of her imagination gone awry, because at the beginning of the film, when she's receiving lessons from her older sister, she says that her ideal world would not be logical. I especially love the Cheshire Cat, because the way he's animated and his expressions are just priceless. You can't help but smile along with him when you see him. Speaking of the Cheshire Cat, he said something very interesting. He said in order to find the shadows, we have to make the room brighter. Not these shadows, mind you, but a much bigger shadow that is lying in wait. And no, I'm not talking about the large body. Jeez, that guy does a lot of damage. You can also try using magic against those large bodies, because that's one way to quickly deplete their health. Okay. Here we go. But as I said before, I think Alice is a very good character because of how well she contrasts with the world around her. You know, at first she says to herself that this is the perfect world, but then as time goes on, she kind of longs for logic. Which is ironic because Wonderland, as you know, is a place where logic has no meaning. So yeah, overall, I think Alice in Wonderland is a really good film. It might even be in my top 10, but I don't know, because there are a lot of good Disney films, as you all well know. But what we have to do is we have to turn on both of these lamps. Okay, now that both of the lamps are filled, or lit, I should say, all the lights are on. You'll see the shadows soon. They'll arise in this room, but somewhere else. The shadows might go after that doorknob, too. Now, in order to exit the bizarre room, we have to go over here and unlock this hatch. This is going to take us back to the Queen's castle, but before we head down, there is another chest for us to collect. And when we open it, we rescue puppies number 13, 14, and 15. Very nice. So 6 Dalmatians have been rescued. Now, we want to fill up our HP with the save point, and I just want to check our items. I'm gonna equip Goofy with some potions because, yeah, it's no surprise, we have a boss fight coming up. Donald is not going to be particularly helpful in this fight, but Goofy definitely will be. And I just want to make sure I have everything equipped. Yes. Okay. Very nice. By the way, Goofy learned an attack called Rocket, which allows him to jump and attack with his shield. And that could prove useful in this fight. You'll have a better view from higher up. So, when you are ready, hop up onto the table and talk to the Cheshire Cat. The shadows should be here soon. Are you prepared for the worst? If not, too bad. I suppose this was the big shadow that he was referring to. And I do mean big. Say hello to the Trickmaster. Now, as you can see, the Trickmaster is very tall, much higher than Sora can jump. So what you need to do is you need to, or you could just wait for Goofy to do it, you have to attack his, midsection. And once you do it enough times, he will get stunned and lower down. And oh, crap. You see how one of his juggling clubs is on fire? That is because Donald used fire on him. And I was just about to say that you'll want to try and avoid attacking him with fire because it will light his clubs on fire, and that means his damage output will be greater. Oh, thank you, Donald. And here I was dissing you. But the basic strategy for this fight is to hop on the table, combo him, and then run away. And what is with those musical notes surrounding his head? And oh, I forgot about that. If the fight goes on too long, he'll go over to that stove and light both of his clubs on fire. And I think sometimes he can even shoot fire at you. And unfortunately, he pounded the table down. Oh! Oh, he's stunned! Cool. I just want to see if you can put both of his clubs out with the blizzard. Apparently not. I thought you could. I'm doing pretty well. I'm doing pretty well for now, but I just have to be careful because he doesn't really do much damage, and he doesn't have the greatest variety in his attacks, but he's definitely the toughest boss you've fought up until this point. Goofy can be a huge asset in this fight because if he has Rocket equipped, then he can easily get to the Trickmaster's mid-section where he's most vulnerable. There we go! I beat him! Ugh. I thought that fight was going to take longer. And for beating the Trickmaster, we obtained Ifrit's Horn.
What a racket. How's a doorknob to get any sleep?
Oh, here's a fun fact. That doorknob is the only character in the Alice in Wonderland film that did not appear in the books. What was that? You hear that? Sounded like something closed. This gummy ain't like the others. No, sir. Okay, I'll hold on to it. And we obtained a navigation gummy piece. Yay! Splendid. You're quite the hero. If you're looking for Alice, she's not here. She's gone, off with the shadows into darkness. No. Let's go back to our gummy ship. We might find her in another world. We've got to go to a save point to return to our ship. Yep, I think we're going to end this video for now, but we accomplished a lot. We reached the end of Wonderland, and we're going to go back to Traverse Town in the next episode. So, see you guys next time. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to my channel for more awesome content, and follow me on Facebook and Twitter for future updates.